Hey all, welcome to Let's Do This with Evan. Today I'm going to be converting my Masterbuilt 1050 grill to a griddle using the 1050 griddle top conversion kit that I bought straight from the Masterbuilt website. Put on some gloves, you're going to get dirty. So you have to take out the grill tops. Pretty heavy. I put them on the top for now. The griddle insert does fit right on the bottom, so you can store it easily in there. So when I put it up, I put the grates on the bottom. I just keep switching in and out. It does take a little bit to switch over, so might want to griddle a few meals and then smoke a few meals, because switching in and out, as I'm going to show you, takes a little bit of time. I will be doing a full cook of some smash burgers, and also kind of giving a final review here, what I think. These are the heat shields that slip into the bottom of the what do you call them, the manifold. So the tabs on the bottom there that I'm pointing out, they go into the manifold. There's little places that those sit in, and then these side pieces fit on the top to hold the heat shields up into place. I've used this quite a few times. I haven't noticed any wear and tear or brittling of these heat shields. So far, they've held up pretty good. I've made smash burgers, made a few fajitas. I've grilled just some brats on there. I've cooked a few steaks. I seared them up real hot. I've been pretty happy with this griddle insert. It's quite the investment. I think about $150 if I remember right. I've seen posts of people getting them on sale for $99. I know I've seen them that low after, of course, I bought mine. So once you get both sides in there, then it should look like this. It traps all the heat from the manifold and it puts it right up onto the griddle insert. Now when you start up your grill, let's say you're going to be at 500, it'll only get the griddle top to 400. I've read a bunch of different places that you figure about 100 degrees less to your griddle top, and it takes a while to get up to that heat. So there you go, you just slip it in. It is heavy. I wouldn't want to guess how many pounds, but 30? So maybe I did want to guess. And I always, again, I put everything I stored on the bottom. I just have a baking sheet down there that I set things on, so if it does get damp or wet down there, it's not soaking in water. You don't want to get it rusty. It's cleanup time. So when you're wiping, scraping, you want it to go somewhere. If you put it right in the hole, it's going to go to the bottom of your grill. So what I do, as you're going to see, I get some tin foil and I mold it onto the bottom of a can to make a catcher. And then I can set it down underneath, so when I do scrape food particles or any kind of grease extra down, it catches into there. Then when it cools off and it solidifies, I can just take it right out. So I haven't seen any other good solutions for it, so that's a good hack. I flare out the tops, so when I set it down underneath the griddle top, it doesn't fall down. But if you get too much stuff in there, it will fall down all the way. I have to figure out a better way to do it. Maybe if you put it inside the hole and flare out the top. I don't know, let me know if you figured out any better way of doing it. So set it into place. And here we're going to get going with our smash burgers. I have about 1/3 pound rolls. Some different kinds of cheeses. I have some company that they wanted different kinds of cheeses. Throw on your butter, make sure that's melted. I have this set up to 525, I believe. Melt your butter. Gonna make some butter burgers, butter smash burgers. Then I have some blueberry brats that I pre-boiled. Boil them for 20 minutes. That makes sure they're cooked all the way through. Then all you need to do is brown up the skins and they're ready to go, because I did buy them as fresh brats. So it's the smash burgers. When you put them on, you want them to cook for 5 to 10 seconds, and then flip them before you smash them, so you're smashing down the cooked portion. Then it won't stick to your spatula. So I bought this scraper recently, and it is already proved itself worth the money. So I have a spatula and that scraper. Together they work out pretty well. As you'll see, I use the scraper to push down on the spatula top. I know they make cylinders for black stones that you push down on the spatula. So same kind of thing. And here I'm cooking them first on the edges, on the bottoms. Sprinkle salt and pepper. It's okay if they cook a little longer because you're going to be flipping them and smashing them, so it just won't stick to that spatula then with that little bit of a cooked bit on it. Have some red onions there cooking up. Give that a smashy smash. Spatula's getting hot, and then I remember I have a scraper, so I might as well start using that. You want about 3-4 minutes this side, and then when you flip it, put a little bit more salt and pepper, and then put on your cheese. You only want to flip them once. There's a scraper, and then that works a lot better. Just smash it down with that, then your hand's not going to get super hot. Always make sure to wear an apron or something over a shirt, especially if you like your shirt, because these things spray grease all over the place. But smash burgers are quickly becoming my favorite, and I know why everybody's just raving about them. They cook fast, and they're delicious, and they're not super huge, and have good flavor. And all you need is a little salt and pepper, but you can get crazy with it if you want. So it's going to be a little bit of a time lapse here in a minute. Throwing on my brats. Again, these are fully cooked blueberry brats that I got from a meat market. Shout out to 1212 Meats. Flipping my onions around. As you can tell, on the outside of where the manifold puts the heat up, that doesn't get very hot. So you definitely have some hotter spots with your griddle top. The whole griddle top isn't uniform heat, which is one con of this. Another con is there's no real drip tray catcher. If you scrape everything into that hole as is, it just goes to the bottom of your grill, and that's going to cause a big fire hazard. The drainage on these grills aren't very good. Even when it got so hot once when I was cooking pizza, the rivets blasted the grease catcher off the bottom, so I have it held up with a wire mesh grate that I made. I don't show it in the video, but these grills have been known to have some problems. I melted a few of my switches off, so I had to bypass a few. Here we go, give them the flip here. You want that nice lacy edge. I can tell the ones on the insides are cooking the ones faster than the ones on the outside. But it's a nice big area, especially on the 1050 grills. Well, they have 800 and 900 and then a 1050, I think. I went ahead and got the 1050 right away because when I'm smoking or grilling or cooking or griddling, I want to make a lot of food. I don't mind leftovers. It's quite a bit of charcoal to get this thing running, so I will make it worth it. Even with this cook, I go maybe through a third of a hopper of charcoal, and then I do sprinkle hickory chips into my charcoal chute. And that's the nice thing about this griddle top on the 1050. You are doing it with charcoal and a little bit of whatever wood you choose, so it definitely has a better flavor profile than just a black stone grill. So that's a good pro on that. Is I've had a lot of food on black stones from friends' houses and things, and this just has that good charcoal flavoring because that smoke rolls in there too when you shut the top. The cover you saw I took off in the beginning, I just got that off Amazon if anybody was wondering. It's a good fit. I think I got it for $15. The one straight from Masterbuilt, it's probably more like $50. I don't use the shelf on the front of my Masterbuilt very often. It's in a bad place. If you have something too tall, when you shut the hood, the handle will hit the top of your pork butt or roast or something. So here's the scraping it right in there, and it goes right into my tinfoil holder. So that really works out well. Getting some extra little bits in there, clean that out. So as you can tell, it's pretty easy to use. You have to season your griddle top just like you'd season a cast iron anything. You know, spread it with oil, get it super hot, let it cool, and then scrape off, rub extra oil on it at the end, and you're pretty much good to go. It's seasoned. Maybe do that once a year, or if you're noticing rust, then you really have to scrape with the wire mesh. See how it closes, how that handle is so close to where that shelf is? And that shelf's not very wide, so I end up dropping it on my food a lot of times. So there's the finished hamburgers, smash burgers with different cheeses on them for different flavors. You know, some of my kids, they don't like the cheese on there, so. And that does up the onions really well. I moved them over a little bit because the edges of the griddle top, again, aren't getting as hot as right in the middle. But those are all done. Everything, by the way, was delicious. I had company over, and everybody was raving about these smash burgers. And I said, no, it's not a Blackstone. I got my griddle top on my smoker. So everybody's interested about that, too. I think it's a really good way to use what you already have. That way I don't have to have a Blackstone or griddle top on my deck along with my Masterbuilt smoker. And of course the smoker is also a grill, so I can sear on it, smoke on it. There's rotisserie attachments you can get. I mean, so far I've been really happy. If you do your research, you'll see that they definitely have their problems. The manifolds get rusty. I'm pretty much almost due to get a new one. They're pretty cheap on Masterbuilt. I've only had this thing for 3 years. The charcoal, the chute, the lining in there kind of gets rusty and wears out. There's aftermarket inserts you can put in the chute that last a little longer. The switches burn out. I had to bypass that. I had to get a new plug for it. But yeah, it sounds crazy as I'm saying all these things that have happened to this 3-year-old machine, but I still think it's worth it once you figure out the little nuances and things like that. But if you're not handy, if you don't want to be bypassing switches and all that, I would definitely look somewhere else. But I don't mind ordering a switch and getting it a day later and changing it out. That stuff doesn't really bother me, because once you've eaten food off of a gravity-fed smoker like this with the charcoal and the wood chips in there, there's not really many products that do this, unless you just use it like a regular kettle grill or something. But then you're using a kettle grill, not necessarily a smoker. I've smoked on everything. I've been in the meat industry for, 10 years. My brother owns a meat market. My dad owned a meat shop. So I've been around meat a lot of my life. Smoked a lot of meats, and I just think that this puts out some really good smoked product. I've been enjoying it. The griddle insert, I give a 8 out of 10, honestly. I just think that it works out really well. If you already have a 1050 especially, I wouldn't run out and buy one of these grills just so you could get an insert for it. But if you already spent the money, you have the grill, might as well go ahead and get the insert for it. I hope you all like the honest review here and how to kind of set it up, put it on. I scrape as much as I can into the chute there. Get rid of that, and then later on I'm going to put the slides in here when it's all done, and that pretty much shuts it off. It doesn't let any of the heat get back in and kills off the charcoal. So here the slides go in the side. And here's a review from one of the toughest critics around here. What do you think? Hey.
Bad?
Hey, that's better.
It's scary.